Well, good afternoon, you handsome lot. You probably noticed that I'm not working on my ramp. Simple reason being, the water pump has failed on this BMW X5. And with it having stupidly wide tyres, my little arms haven't got the power, especially with my little cut. I can't do the turns to get it on. So it's easy just to back it on this ramp. But we have got a water pump, like I've just said, which has failed and it's thrown the alternator belt. Now this car is an absolute monster. I do like the X5s, I really do. Now to get involved in this, it is down there. We've got lots of stuff to take off. Get the support brace off and also the coolant fan as well. Right, well we've gone ahead now, we made a little bit of room. We've got the fan out the way. There was, where's it gone? An intercooler pipe from the intercooler up to the inlet manifold by here. Now, we've disconnected the coolant hoses this side of the water pump. Now this side of the water pump, we've got to take this throttle body off to get to a 10mm underneath there, so we can then remove, I don't know if you lot can see it, this plastic housing. It slides backwards so we can then get the water pump out. It is a little bit fiddly and there's quite a few bits that we need to take off, but nonetheless, we're here to fix cars, not moan about it. Right, well I've gone ahead and I've plodded on now. We've got the water pump off because we are clacking on for time. It is 4:30 on a Friday, but I'm probably going to finish this job off now in the morning, but it is a right fiddle. Like I said, we've had to remove this throttle body or intake mode flap, whatever you want to call it. Remove that 10mm, move that coolant pipe back. Be careful not to break it because it is plastic. Now, to get this water pump out, you have to remove the jar cooler. I'm going to say yes and no. What I've done, rather than snap the 2 bolts in the manifold, we've just undone the 3/6mm and just prised it back ever so slightly, which will enable us to just wiggle this water pump out. And as you can see, it is absolutely shot-a-rooning. That is rough as toast. Well, we are now into Saturday morning, and what a beautiful morning it is. We're in the workshop nice and early, 8 o'clock, before everybody gets here, to have a little bit of peace and quiet. Now, we all know that the Renault K9K water pump gaskets are metal and they're sharp. Well, these are just as bad, and they have got perforated edges around, so you do need to snap them off. We don't want to go ending up in hospital again, do we? See, it's even got a little shark fin as well, like the K9K engines. But yeah, at least that's off without any hospital trips. Right, well the new thermostat has turned up and we've bolted it back to the water pump, and it was a Borg & Beck one. I do rate the Borg & Beck stuff. Now, the new gasket that you get with a water pump, it is a paper one, and because of where it's mounted, it can be a bit of a pain and we don't want it falling off. So what we're doing, getting ourselves a little bit of Vaseline, whatever you call it, put it on the water pump housing. Maybe we can go ahead, because like I said, the gasket is paper. We can, oh, hang on, wrong way. We can put that on now, and that Vaseline will keep that gasket in place, hopefully, while we put it back onto the engine. Perfect. Before we put it back on, you need to make sure that the block fascia, I can't really get my camera down there because it is a little bit fiddly, is nice and clean, which it is clean, because we like things clean. Right, now with a little bit of, I would say swearing, but I don't swear, that water pump now is all on, and it is a little bit of a fiddle to get in there because you need fingers like this. Now what I'm going to do now is jump ahead and put a brand new drive belt on it, but because I don't know the routing of this belt, we've had to refer to technical information, and that's given me an image which I can go off. But the air conditioning belt is a stretch belt, so we're going to have to try and stretch that back on. Coming off is easy, but putting them on can be a little bit of a fiddle, but I'm going to see if I can try and get a video of me putting it back on. But we'll try. Right, let's get this alternator belt put back on. Right, now with that brand new belt routed, what we can do is go on 19mm on the tensioner, pull it back, make sure the belt's on, and we can pull the pin out. And that belt is now nice and tight. Now if I go ahead now and get my E10, oh, where's it gone? I don't know where I put it. What have I done with it? What have I done with it? Oh, it's there. Actually, my bad, it is an E12. We can get our alternator belt now. You might not be able to see this. If we hook it around the AC belt first, make sure it's on all the grooves, put it round. Now bear in mind this is a stretch belt, so we're not using any fancy tools. We can turn the engine over by hand and get that belt back on them ribs. You might have to just guide it a little bit. It can be a fiddle. It might take a few turns round on the crank. To go round. My concentration phase now is second to none. I think that belt now, no, we've got one more rib to go over. Got to push it with your finger. There we go. That belt is now on perfectly. I'm sorry it took a little bit of a while, but yeah, we are on. Right, well we are getting somewhere now. Pretty much all built up. I've got the fans put back in, but this EGR feed pipe here, we have run into a little bit of a problem. The clip itself has broke. I don't know, they're not very good. But we're going to have to try and overcome this, and what I'm planning on doing is putting that around the pipe. Now this is only going to be temporary, because it is Saturday and I need to get this car running and off the ramp. I'm going to try and put it on and put a Jubilee clip around it to secure it for now until the new part turns up either Monday morning or Monday afternoon. But we'll see if we can get it bodged or temporary repair, whatever you want to call it. Right, well we all know by now that these BMWs can be a little bit of a nightmare to bleed, especially when you've disturbed the coolant system. Now I've just got a few little trims to finish the job off, but while I'm doing that I'm going to be putting my vacuum and refill system on it. Simple reason being, we're going to be checking for leaks. As you can see, I've just gone into the yellow there, and that is going to pull a vacuum on the system. As you can see, we have squashed the coolant pipes, so that is a good sign that we've got no leaks whatsoever. Now like I said, I've got these few little trims to put back on, and by the time I've done that we can get some fresh coolant in it. Right, well I've now got pretty much that car all back together. Now I don't know whether, I didn't have a look at this car to start with, whether it had an engine cover here or not, or the customer's taking it off, I do not know. But we got the red coolant come out of it, so red coolant's going back in. Now as you can see, we've got the right coolant now for the vehicle. We're just going to flick this switch, and that now, you should see them pipes expanding again. So if we flick that switch, probably take a while, but they will. It's taking a while, this. Big old system. But it is Filling up. Come on. What's everybody doing this weekend anyway? Hope we've all got a few plans made and one thing or another. Oh, I'm going to stop this. It's like watching bloody paint dry. But anyway, them pipes do expand back up. And there we have it with a little bit of magic. Now that car is all finished off. Now it has been ticking over for about 10 minutes or so, and I'll just flip the camera around. As you can see, the water is pumping very, very good. Now we get my little thermal camera. This is absolutely insane, this is. We can see everything is getting nice and hot. Even if I can get it right. The water pumping round. That's brilliant, that camera is. Now I do get asked about it all the time. Now it is in my bio. I don't know whether they make them anymore, but this is brilliant. If we come round to the vents, we can see the heating is working. Even underneath the dash there, the heater core, everything is working perfectly. And just like that, that is one water pump fitted now on a BMW X5. Now, remember my little bodge, the temporary repair. Now that is probably going to hold off enough to get it off the ramp and take for a little bit of a test drive. So yeah, I hope that everybody has an absolutely insane weekend. They have given it nice and hot. Now, please stay in the shade, don't get burned, and just look after yourselves. Anyway, let's get it sent.